Well, we talked about it on here, and obviously we willed this into existence. People are coming up with their own solutions on dealing with the Atari 7800 controller. Now, we talked about this a little bit when I got my 7800. I actually like this controller. It's got a good feel to it. There's just one problem, and if you guys can't tell, even with my big monster hands, these buttons are pretty far. Like that's my whole finger back to where my thumb comes in at to get to that button. So if you're trying to play a game, you actually have to like lift your hand off of the controller and go over. And that's with giant monster hands. So a normal human-sized hand, I feel like you just have to let go of the controller completely. Or I've seen people on videos literally playing like this, which is super uncomfortable. I would never play it that way. So there are some solutions out there. Now, Kelly, you haven't made the jump into the Atari Plus world yet, but have you ever used one of these 7800 controllers?
I have not, but I can do the physics, and I can see it'd be a problem.
Yeah, it is. It's just uncomfortable when you're using it, and especially when you're playing a great game like Bentley Bear, which uses both buttons, and you need to utilize both buttons for running and jumping. So a lot of games are still one button on there, so it's not that big a deal. And there are other controller options as well. It's just if you're like me, if you grew up, NES into Super Nintendo and Genesis and all that, this is more of the form factor of controller that you're used to. So I gravitate towards this, but that button placement is crazy. So there are some solutions now. So the first one that they have is sort of a grip that you can lock the controller into, 3D print it, looks pretty nice. The grip is nice because I can see where it's more ergonomic, something along the lines of what you would see with like an Xbox controller. So here's one of my Xbox controllers. This is comfortable to hold in the hand. So it gives you a grip like this. The problem with that, though, is while it might be more comfortable in the hand, you're actually adding a little bit more space between you and the buttons. Because I saw a video with that grip previously, and at first I thought it was cool, but then immediately thought of the obvious problem. So they've come up with an upgrade to that and a piece that kind of sticks over and presses the button, giving you a sort of like a lever almost that you push down that is closer to your thumb. I can see how it solves the issue. I personally don't know if I want to go that far though to do it. What did you think, sir?
So I thought it's really impressive. So it's Paul, the 3D engineer. He's got an Etsy store where the grip, this button bar, and also a nice little attachment you could put in on the control pad so that you have more of a joystick-ish kind of experience with it. A little short, nubby uh, joystick type of thing that looks really nice as well. Um, I thought the engineering was impressive on it. Uh, I just was worried. It just seems to me if you're playing aggressively, that that's going to be a point of failure. Either it's going to, I mean, it's really well designed and engineered, so I think it's going to be as sturdy as a bar coming out over the top of another button to move a button can be. And it's got like a little cushion or lever on the bottom of it to kind of so you're just not clacking the thing on there. So he took some steps to kind of make it as kind of ergonomic and functional as possible. But I do worry while it does achieve it, I think you have to, you have to play like a reasonable person and not really button bash because I would think you're going to start to push that thing towards the point of failure. Although, they showed some gameplay in the video. We put a link in the show notes to that. And he was playing a game that required, it was you're firing missiles and dropping bombs using the two buttons, and he was navigating back and forth between the two, uh, kind of hitting the buttons quick and fast and back and forth, and it seemed to work just fine. But I just do wonder on, if you either in a moment of panic, you're really hitting a button hard or whatever, how well it's going to hold up. And it does start to, when you get to that point on it, you've really Frankenstein that controller. It's now got, rebar over the tie. It's got a lot of action going on. The grip I thought was brilliantly done, with the exception of, you know, you're gonna you did further extend that hard to reach button, but really well done. Best I could tell, I tried to look close up on some of the photos. I think all this stuff's 3D printed. Um, it really
I
well,
believe they said it is, yeah.
yeah, and so it looks really really well done. But um, yeah, I just think the it's impressive. We want to make sure we made folks aware of it, and maybe you're just going to want that joystick connector, or maybe this setup is the way to go. But to me, if you're going to do that full investment, if that controller is so not meeting your needs that you need to add a grip and then add movement of the buttons, maybe it's time to use a different controller.
Yeah, that's ultimately, this is really cool and it does solve the problem, which is awesome. But to Kelly's point, it's a lot to go through to add to it. I think at that point I would just use a different controller.
I mean, and while it's a lot to put together and whatever, I mean, it's not like exorbitant price wise or anything, but it is a lot to do. But super creative guy deserves props for troubleshooting and figuring it out. Really creative idea. Uh, awesome to see there. So now, if he can just 3D design something that will help me not get lost in Doom, that would be great. But I don't know if that's possible. So excellent. Well, let us know what you think. If you were are you in the plus camp or the plusiverse? And have you had the struggles with the controller? And is this a solve for you, or would you just switch over to another controller? Like to hear what you've got to say on that, or if you think there's any other kind of fixes. Although I'm hard pressed to see how there'd be anything more elegant than what this guy's come up with, but who knows? So let us know. Go ahead and subscribe if you wouldn't mind to the Bog Panda YouTube channel. Hit that bell. You'll be notified when new videos come out. You'll also be notified every day that there's a podcast out there called Hard No. Less than a minute of your time every day. You'll be a better person for it. There's also some merchandise on our website and a growing numbers in our home microbrewery site, Bog Pandaverse. So lots of stuff there. And currently, still everything there is free. So um, not the merchandise. Our goofy software. That's the free stuff. Anything else, sir?
No, I think that covers it. Obviously, the 7800 plus is great. I know it's on sale on Amazon right now. Highly recommend it. Regardless of whether or not, this controller works for you, you have other controller options and you have fixes like what this gentleman's offering. So I highly recommend it, especially with the sale price on Amazon at the time we're recording this.
Bog Panda.